I'm Louis Fudos here with Running Maryland. We're doing an interview with women's head coach Roger Erricker. So we're just going to ask him a few questions, see what he's got to say. So we'll start off with, so how long have you been coaching at Towson? Where were you before, and what was the deciding factor in coming here?
Well, Louis, I've just been here a few years. This is my 26th season. Before that, I coached at Howard High School. I did that for 3 years. And then before that, I was a student assistant at Frostburg State, where I went to school.
Okay. Right, and being homegrown, you know, went to high school around here and college at Frostburg, but also what events did you do?
Okay, well, I went to Gaithersburg High School, and then I first went to Charleston Southern for a year, and then I went to Montgomery Community College for a year, and then went to Frostburg. So I sort of went D1, JUCO, and then D3, so sort of went all over the place. I was mainly a high jumper and hurdler. I think they were my two best events, but I did a lot of other stuff. Triple jumped and ran relays and, you know, just about anything, did multi-events, so anything that I was called to do.
What do you enjoy most about coaching, and what are some of the challenges?
Probably the most enjoyable thing about coaching to me is just the interaction with the athletes. You know, just actually teaching and watching the athletes improve. I think that's probably it. And then also just the competition factor. You know, you go from being an athlete being very competitive to now it's your team.
And what are your top 3 moments in Towson track history?
Wow. After 26 years, it'd be, I would have to say, I'd go back to possibly late 80s, Maureen Shaneman Hall in her sophomore year at the ECC Championships, where she won the 400, the 800, and the 1500 all in about a span of 1 hour and 45 minutes and set conference records in all 3, and that was her first outdoor championship meet ever because she didn't run in high school. So that's probably one. I would say Kelly Robinson in 2004 going to the NCAA championships when she qualified for the NCAAs when we were down at the University of Florida. Number 3, gosh, kind of hard. Laura Pasalacqua winning a jump off to go to nationals in 2007 was a big one, and then of course last year I was finishing 3rd in the conference as a team. That was big too.
Okay, and looking at the top 10 from each event, most of the times and distances are from the past few years, and every week, you know, someone's bumped off the list. What's the difference, and is there something in the water, or what's been the factor in the increased competitiveness?
Better athletes is really what it is. You know, I mean, we have gone from a program that had 1.5 scholarships now to we're still only at about 40% of the NCAA allowable as far as scholarships. But so we've been able to recruit and attract some better athletes, and now with us just having a women's program, which is, you know, we lost the men's program in 2004. We have the same number of assistant coaches, and the focus now is just on the one team, so I think that's helped as well.
Okay, and for 2006 at conferences, at BCU, not the most memorable. It was a pretty long bus ride back. But just 4 years later, last year at George Mason, the bus ride could have been as long as we wanted it to be. Last year, 3rd place, as we alluded to, and it's probably the greatest 2 days in track history. So what changed from 2006 to 2010?
We had a great recruiting class for 2007. That the seniors that graduated last year was a really good core group, and I think that sort of changed the attitude. They were hard workers, very talented, and I think that's filtered down to the younger athletes. So it's just sort of a whole culture change, I would say, in what's happened in the last 4 years.
Okay, and this year there's a lot of new faces, but still from last year's team, there's pretty much the core. So what do you expect this year individually and as a team at conferences?
Well, we did lose some of those good seniors that I were talking about that I think was about, I think I've counted it up, and it's about 24 points or so that we lost from last year. But we do have some good newcomers, and we've got some returning athletes that are doing a whole lot better. So I think that's going to really help us out. And our goal is to finish in the top 3 in the conference, and I think that's a very doable goal. We're starting out, we're maybe not quite where we were last year, but I think we can get there.
Okay, and we talked about losing the men's team to 2004. Pretty ridiculous, but what, I guess, is what makes it easier to coach, but also at the same time it kind of takes away from the program and going to meets?
Yeah, it does, because I coached the men from 1987 until 2004, and so it's sort of your baby, the program. And we had a really good team. We had, some outstanding individuals that went on to be IC4A champions and went on to the NCAA's. So it was kind of tough to lose those guys. But the difference is now that we do have a focus on the one team, so it has brought the women as a team together more.
And there's a lot of girls on the team that are from the area. So what do you look for in recruiting? And is there any difference in the kids that you like more in state or out of state?
Well, we like to have a mix. We like, in state, obviously the money goes further because it's a whole lot cheaper for in state. And I think it's nicer if they're close by. You're close by, relatively close by, that you can go home. The parents can come and see you. You don't get that homesickness factor, especially in that freshman year. But what I think the first thing we look for is the academics. When I look at a questionnaire and I'll see stats, and the first stats that I look at are the SAT scores and the GPA. We've done very well academically as a team. Last year we were 14th in the nation in D1 as far as team GPA. So that's the most important. And then I also know that there's no problem in getting them into Towson and keeping them at Towson, which is a big important thing. And then obviously the performance. What we're really looking for the public school kids are girls that are going to score in the state meet. They're going to be in the top 6 or 8 in the state meet. And then in private school would be ones that are going to be scoring in the conference meet. So that's it, I guess. And then personality-wise too, we want to make sure they're going to fit in with the team. And that's another thing when they come in for visits. And then I'll get feedback from the girls on the team. Did they like her? Did they think they're going to fit in? And so all those things are factors that we look for when we're making a decision on who we're going to recruit, who we're going to make offers to as far as scholarships.
All right, and finally, who do you have coming in next year, and would you like to promote?
Oh, well, we've actually signed 5 very good athletes. I guess our top in-state athlete is Elizabeth Tauber from John Carroll, a distance runner. I think she's going to do very, very well for. Really excited that she signed with us. We have 2 very good javelin throwers that we have signed from New Jersey. One javelin thrower, she's the 9th best senior javelin thrower in the nation, so I think she's really going to come in and do well for us. 300 hurdler from Pennsylvania, Emily Winger. Emily was 3rd last year in the 300 hurdles in the state of PA. And then we have another really nice middle distance runner, Cara Baccaro, that is coming in from Connecticut. And she ran like a 3:01,000 in the Connecticut State Championship, so I think she'll do very well for us. And then we've still got some others that we're hoping that are in the pipeline that we can get to come in, and hopefully some good walk-ons to fill out the roster.
All right, well, thanks, Raj.
Thank you, Lewis.